Tax havens, offshore accounts, carried interest. Mitt Romney has used every trick in the book. Romney admits that over the last 2 years, he's paid less than 15% in taxes on $43 million in income. Makes you wonder if some years he paid any taxes at all. We don't know because Romney has released just one full year of his tax returns and won't release anything before 2010.
You know what? I put out as much as we're going to put out.
What is Mitt Romney hiding?
I always love the eerie music behind that. Now, it's ads like the one you just saw from the Obama campaign, of course, that have put Romney on the defensive. The pressure, it's building on him to release more than 2 years of his most recent tax returns. And it's not just Obama and Democrats banging the drum. Even members of his own party are saying he ought to do it already. But Romney, he's standing his ground. This is what he said on Fox News just yesterday.
You know, John McCain ran for president and released 2 years of tax returns. John Kerry ran for president. You know, his wife, who has hundreds of millions of dollars, she never released her tax returns. Right. Somehow this wasn't an issue. We're going to put out 2 years of tax returns and put out one already. As soon as the most recent year's complete, we'll put that out.
Now, Romney's wealth is somewhere valued in the ballpark, probably $250 million. His tax returns from 2010 revealed some of his money were in offshore accounts, as many of you heard, whether it's Swiss accounts, Bahamas, Caymans, you get the drift. And it's got more than a few folks wondering what might be in those other returns that he will not release. And joining us now to sound off on this, one of our favorites, Jessica Proud, Republican strategist and Vice President and NLO Strategies. All right. You've had a lot of, I won't even ask you to name them, some candidates who you've had to give some tough love to and say, your instinct may be this, but do this. I thought, Jessica, in the primary, where even Republicans were saying give up the returns, by now he would have done it. Just get it out of the way. But the longer he drags this out, the more this is an issue and the more people use creative imaginations, or worst of all, maybe there's something really terrible in there. What would you advise Romney to do?
Well, I understand the campaign's willingness to not want to play into the president's hands on this one. They feel like, you know, they set the tone. They don't want to capitulate to what the other team is calling for, and that's a fair point. But the problem is, it is, you know, the media is all over this. It's reaching a fever pitch right now where fellow Republicans, most recently Rick Perry, just came out and called on him to do the same thing. So it is a distraction. It is a PR stunt from the Obama campaign, but I think this is the kind of thing that does affect independent voters, and the longer he waits to address this, the more it's going to bubble up. So
now, I know we don't know the answer, okay, so we're going to hypothesize, but to me, he's a real smart guy. Got smart guys around him. This isn't a new issue for him. The only reason I can think he's not releasing his returns is just something really bad in there. And you heard others, I mean, Matt Dowd and other strategists who said the only reason he's not putting this out here is he's going to get crushed by something that's in there. Can you think of another reason why he wouldn't do it? I
don't know that that's necessarily the case. I mean, you guys are going to crucify me on this one, but it's the same mentality as Obama releasing the birth certificate. They came out, they said what they're going to say. No, it's the same mentality. Why should they cave to the demands of what the other side is asking?
One small difference, without crucifying you, no president has ever, or presidential candidate had ever been asked to release birth certificates before. Not only have presidential candidates released their tax returns before, Mitt Romney's father released 12 years of tax returns when he ran for president in 1968.
Released 2 years. So why does Obama get to be the arbitrator of what enough is enough?
Well, Mitt Romney's been running for president for 6 years now, so he's had plenty of opportunity to adjust his taxes and, you know, take some losses or whatever. And
also because it's an issue a little bit. It's not like McCain might not have, but nobody ever thought John McCain was sitting on, you know, a gold mine here.
Well, his wife
certainly. But you know what, Richard? Maybe I'm a little under the weather because Jessica does have a point to this degree. You don't let your, and this is the point I tried to make last night, you don't let your opponents or the media fully dictate what you're going to do. So for Romney to cave in now, even though the pressure is building tremendously on him, it will show a weakness if he just caves in.
But the problem is, right now the story every day is, why hasn't it released the tax returns? Why hasn't it released the tax returns? And every day that the Romney campaign is on that, they're not talking about the economy. They're not talking about the things that Romney wants to talk about.
That there's something in there that he's hiding.
He got a refund one year.
Well,
Look, he didn't write the tax code. I think there's nothing, if there was anything really nefarious in there, the IRS would be all over it. They have the best opposition researchers in the country.
Crying out loud. Let the thing die in the summer. People can be talking about other stuff. You wait to do like they say in October to get out. That's insane. Now, I ask you another question, and it's, again, this isn't coming from Democrats. This is coming from Republicans who want Romney to win more than anybody. Questions about the guys closest to him and if they're ready for prime time, if you will. And if I could just bring up, you know, what Rupert Murdoch had to say. Okay, Rupert Murdoch sent out a tweet and he said, Mitt Romney last week, tough Obama Chicago pros will be hard to beat unless he drops, talking about Romney, old friends from team and hires some real pros, doubtful. Now, apparently he's a really nice guy, but the term Etch-a-Sketch came from his own campaign manager, okay, who put this out there. And they took off the table, you know, Obamacare and the tax issue. There's a lot of people saying, my God, you got 8% unemployment for this long. You should be killing this guy. And instead, by almost every metric, he's losing in the popular vote and in the swing states. He's definitely losing when you do the Electoral College. This is not, you know, going to be studied by like how to run a campaign, how his folks are doing it. Have you even raised some eyebrows as to what they're focusing on, what they're not? They're on defense the whole time. They're never on offense.
I don't necessarily agree with that. I think they have made some missteps along the way. They've gotten caught a little flat-footing on some issues. But this is sort of typical campaign. Everyone, you know, if they don't see exactly where they like where you're going, they always call for you to replace the team. And he's got a group of people that have been with him since he was governor. They got him the nomination, and they deserve credit for that. And they definitely need to step up their game in some areas.
The optics of where they've put him in jet skis here and with the elevator, car elevator in the house and all the rest, they're not doing him any favors.
Well, it plays into
you know
the
he doesn't have the instincts to say this isn't going to look right. He's just not built that way. It doesn't seem Romney. He needs people to help save him from himself, and they're not doing it.
Well, I think that there have been certain missteps along the way, which I don't necessarily agree with, but I don't know how much that matters. People
She's
forget
being
about
polite,
that
Dominic. He should be doing better than he is now.
Not ready for prime time. Romney seems to be okay as a candidate, and he did win a very difficult and tough primary. But they're going up against the A-team. They're going up against an incumbent president from that Chicago machine that knows how to bring it.
But keep in mind, he beat Newt Gingrich and Rick Santorum. That's not exactly the most daunting competition in the primaries.
You know?
I think the Romney team's doing an excellent job. I wouldn't change a thing. I don't particularly want Romney to win.
Let me ask you. We're going to go, Andrew, I'll start with you. VP pick here, right? We're hearing a few different names. It seems to be down to 2 or 3, right?
Yeah, it's down to 2 or 3. It's Tim Pawlenty, the former Minnesota governor. It is Rob Portman, who is the senator from Ohio, and Bobby Jindal making, I guess, a surprise late charge into this race. Or it seems to be what we're down to. There's been some buzz that we may hear the Romney selection by the end of the week, if for nothing else to just sort of turn the page on this dialogue in the campaign.
Jessica, very vanilla, that group here. Maybe that's what they want. Well, we heard about Condoleezza Rice, and I thought that was the idea. They kill that one. I mean, the woman's pro-choice, and I guess that's...
And then everyone would say, you know, it's an extension of the Bush administration.
They ask you, Jessica Proud, you're leaving the studio, they say, who do we go with?
Well, I think Pawlenty, they would all be great choices. I am a big fan of Pawlenty. I think he's done a great job.
Because it wouldn't take attention away from, how would he help him other than Minnesota?
No, I think he brings a knowledge and a steadiness to the campaign. They seem to work really well together, and I think they would all be great choices.
If you could go off the board, who would
I don't think you need to pick a certain demographic in order. He doesn't need to jazz up the campaign with a... No, I don't think Christie would be the right pick.
Again, I'm the only one. I try everybody. Nobody's with me on this one. So, end of the day, you think...
I think they would all be good choices.
And you think that's probably the final group here that you're hearing?
The campaign, yeah.
All right. You guys?
I think Pawlenty would be the smart pick. I think it's probably going to be Portman because they're going to try to use that to win Ohio, but it doesn't matter. The VP choice isn't going to make a difference in this, and this is still vanilla ice cream with vanilla sauce on top with the vanilla on.
I'm glad you two used the word vanilla. I didn't use it. You two did.
You're going to get there at some point, Dominic.
We were looking for the assist.
You got one? You think anybody?
I don't know. I think he goes out. I hope he goes outside the box. With those 3, he's not going to give himself much of a chance.
You know why you really don't like it? Because it's not going to be exciting, which we can really fight about it. Exactly. All right.